Well, I've experienced lots of suffering in my life, as well as hate. And I don't think to answer this question is simple, and I don't think that it could be done in 2 to 5 minutes, or I think it is something that has multiple facets, but I do want to address one at least. And for me, there's a story that helps illustrate, I think, how there can be pain in the world, and yet God be loving. It's a story of a man who was betrayed by all his brothers because of their intense envy over his success and stature. He was well loved by his father, and as a result, the brothers sought to betray him, and they actually sold him into slavery, just kind of wiped him out of the picture. And so they thought they had gotten away with everything. Everything had gone perfectly. And the brother spent his years rotting in a prison cell, in bondage as a slave. But interestingly, after a few years, it was noticed that this man had great potential, very gifted. He wound up getting out of jail, and he wound up excelling and ended up in a prestigious office of great power within his government. As surprising as that may be, the turn of events got even more interesting because his 7 brothers found themselves in great trouble and peril. They found themselves at the mercy of the government office that their betrayed brother worked in. And so as they go to seek aid and financial assistance, they discover their brother, whom they thought was long gone, perhaps beaten and dead, was actually now in charge over them. And so in fear, they essentially begin to say, have mercy on us, we're in trouble, And their brother says, hey, wait a second, let me share this with you. And this is what I want to share today. He says, what you intended for evil, God intended for good, to save many people, for he had done much good while he was in his office. And so I feel like that's been my experience of hardship. At a young age, I lost my stepfather to brain cancer, and that instance changed my entire life, the whole trajectory of my life. When my stepdad got diagnosed after having a massive seizure, he was given a year to live. That death shaped my life significantly, and then from then, I also lost a close friend through leukemia, and then my mom ran head-on into alcoholism and depression. And I watched my mother, who was the strongest relationship I'd had in my life, just wither away and die. And in the midst of all of that pain and anguish, and then honestly, it's a situation in my life that's just hard to explain. There's so much broken wreckage. I believe what the brother who was betrayed believes, that what looks awful and horrible, God intends to bring beauty from. And so rather than being ruined by hardships, I believe that I become more beautiful through them. And I won't begin to suggest that this is a complete answer, but what I believe about pain in the world and a loving God is that a loving God actually makes sense out of pain, and he uses it for his good intentions. And I've seen that in my life. I've seen my stepfather's death help me grow and mature as a man. I've seen my mom's death help me cling to God and have a more authentic relationship with him. And I've seen how all of these things have enabled me to care for others who are going through hardships. And so I've really seen God use my hardships to bring about a greater beauty. And so that's my shot at answering your question.